Twilight joke. Um, Joker. 2000s goth. I think I'm putting more effort into this joke than there was in the movie. Assalamualaikum everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Geek Dhaba. And today we're going to be talking about Morbius. Now, for the uninitiated, Morbius is a movie that is trying to establish a universe based around some of Spider-Man's more popular and slightly unknown to the more casual masses villains. Right, so Morbius is the living vampire who is a big Spider-Man villain, especially from the 90s or 80s animated series. The movie came out a while ago, and it was we watched it, and it was the only one in the cinema when it came out, funnily enough. And I just want to say that the movie is not good. I wish I could summarize it in a more eloquent way, but that's what it boils down to. The movie is just no good. That being said, there's not nothing good about this movie. Let's dive into it a bit. Morbius is a movie that explores the life of a man who's trying to find a cure for a rare disease, and the lengths he goes to achieve that. Now, on paper, that sounds like a good idea, except that that's the first 30 minutes of the movie, and that's pretty much it. The other 1.5 hours of this movie, or however long the movie was, is based entirely on just him learning his abilities and, fighting a villain, right? And that is what all late 2000s, early 2010 superhero movies were like. Even I dare say even the 2017 Power Rangers movie was more or less the same thing. So except for that movie shined with the teenagers trying to go through their lives and everything. This movie did nothing of that, nothing like that. This movie focused entirely on this one character, Morbius, who just trying to get rid of his disease, becomes a vampire, and how he handles the situation, and then deals with someone else. Now, Jared Leto is cast as Morbius, and with that being said, Jared Leto is by no means a horrible actor. Jared Leto is a fantastic actor, but not in this movie. Now, you can chalk it up to the director, the writing, or whatever you want to blame for Jared Leto's poor performance in this movie. Some roles just aren't meant for certain actors. And I do not think that Jared Leto, by any stretch of the imagination, was a good choice for Morbius. The villain of this movie is great. I mean, acting-wise. Even though I love Matt Smith. I love Doctor Who. I loved him in Doctor Who especially. There are a lot of places where it feels like Matt Smith is really phoning in his acting, especially in this movie. And there are some scenes where he just shines. There's a scene where he's getting ready, that's just great. And then the scene where he's inside a bar trying to hit on women, that's great. Any scene where he's just trying to be like, sometimes where he is just being, his lovable self as a character, he's great. But whenever he's trying to be like slightly serious in the villain role, it just doesn't work. He honestly feels like he's phoning it in. Again, neither of these two are bad actors. It's just, I don't think they were both right for this role. That being said, Matt Smith's acting is in some scenes is actually one of the reasons this movie wasn't horrible. Well, completely horrible. It's pretty bad. The other thing is that was great about this movie is the special effects. Special effects were fantastic in this movie. I don't think there was any moment in this movie where I was watching the special effects and thought to myself that this seems dated, this seems bad. The special effects were all pretty fantastic. Um, Even the final fights, special effects were all pretty great. The where this movie really does do a number on you is its plot. It's what it attempts to have as a plot. The movie itself is not very good, not well written, not well directed, not well acted, all across the board. The plot itself is very derivative, as I mentioned earlier. It's very derivative of late 2000s superhero and early 2010s like action type movies where you spend a lot of time on an origin and you just kind of build up to a small fight in the end with the villain. Now that was something that was something that didn't play a lot of too many I would want to say too many stuff back in the day. Um, it's a formula, right? So movies like uh, The Amazing Spider-Man had this whole thing where you spend a lot of time looking at him as his normal person before he becomes a hero, or in this case, an anti-hero. And like Batman Begins had that. Iron Man had that to a degree, except Iron Man spent a lot more time on screen as Iron Man. The Incredible Hulk had it to a degree, and back in the day that was acceptable. But now we're like Marvel is completely done away with origins, and it works. We don't need origins. We don't need to see 45 minutes of them getting their powers unless it's absolutely crucial to their journey. We did away with origins for Spider-Man because everybody knows Spider-Man's origins. You don't need to see it. We've done away with Batman's origins in the Batman because you don't need to see Batman's origins. In a time like this, having a movie with that kind of premise in the start just feels like you're insulting the intelligence of your audience. And you're purposefully making them sit through that just because you couldn't fill 35 minutes. The movie, despite the two good things about it, still is a pain to watch. Personally, I almost got up thrice from the cinema and left because I was that bored. There was no moment in this movie where I could say that, oh yeah, I stayed because I was having a good time. I was not having a good time. Throughout this entire film, I was not having a good time. And I don't think I've met anyone who's watched this movie and said that they've had a good time watching this movie. The movie is, I won't say garbage. There's a lot worse movies out there. There are definitely worse movies in the world. But if you have a choice to watch either this or anything else, I would suggest you watch anything else. With that said, my rating for this movie is a clean 4 out of 10, just because Matt Smith's acting in some places is good and the visual effects were fantastic. Aside from that, there's nothing redeemable about this movie. Do not pay to watch this in the cinema. Wait for it to come out on digital. And even if it comes out on digital, do not watch it unless you're either drunk, high, or have nothing else to do. And with that, I would like to close the Geek Dhaba. Thanks for watching, and be sure to give us a like, comment, and subscribe. Did you like the movie? What did you think? Let us know in the comment section below. I'd love to discuss my opinion with other people's opinions. With that said, have a nice day. See you all later.